Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we delve into the intricate dramas and hidden dynamics of the world's most privileged circles. Today, we explore a story as fascinating as it is shocking, centered on Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former prince, whose life now stands as a striking study in contrasts, immense privilege on one hand, and deep public disgrace on the other. The tale of the Duke of York has always been one of contradictions, but never have they appeared so stark as they do today. Though stripped of his royal duties and facing unrelenting scrutiny for his long-standing association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew seems determined to redefine what it means to be downgraded. Rather than retreating quietly, he continues to demand the trappings of luxury, insisting on maintaining a lavish lifestyle, complete with a full staff, even as he faces the looming prospect of being forced out of his grand residence. This insistence on preserving his opulent standard of living arrives at the most precarious time imaginable, coinciding precisely with a formal summons from the United States Congress, seeking answers about his relationship with Epstein's criminal network. Before we unpack the details of his extraordinary demands and the intensifying legal pressures now converging upon him, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel for ongoing updates on the British royal family, and tap the notification bell so you never miss our next in-depth royal analysis. To understand the audacity of Prince Andrew's current stance, one must first recognize the gravity of his situation. For decades, he lived in extraordinary comfort, most notably at the magnificent Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate. This residence is no modest country home. It boasts approximately 30 rooms and expansive grounds, serving for years as both his primary residence and the longtime home of his former wife, Sarah Ferguson. However, this relocation from Royal Lodge is not by choice. It represents the culmination of King Charles III's ongoing effort to streamline the monarchy, and more specifically, to distance the institution from the scandals that have persistently surrounded his younger brother. The financial strain, coupled with the renewed embarrassment arising from resurfacing allegations about Andrew's links to Epstein, has made his continued occupancy of such a prominent royal estate impossible to justify. This enforced departure marks a decisive end to an era, one that compels the Duke to confront a stark new reality: life without the full privileges of a working royal. Yet, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, son of the late Queen Elizabeth II and father to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, refuses to accept any diminishment of his royal lifestyle. For a man long accustomed to absolute deference, personal attendance, and every conceivable comfort, the notion of managing his own household is almost unthinkable. At the core of this unfolding drama lies a remarkable list of demands that reflects the Duke's apparent unwillingness to adapt. What he seeks is not modest assistance or partial support. It is a sweeping array of requirements for maintaining a level of opulence that stands in sharp contrast to his current position. And this, dear viewers, is where the story takes an extraordinary turn. We are not speaking of a modest arrangement here. Prince Andrew is reportedly demanding the full infrastructure of a traditional, aristocratic household. According to insiders close to the royal circle, the Duke of York has made it clear that he considers a complete roster of staff essential to preserve what he deems an appropriate standard of living for a man of his lineage. Let's break down the specific positions he has reportedly insisted upon, each revealing how deeply entrenched his expectations remain. Despite his fall from grace wone, a professional cook, Prince Andrew has made clear that his culinary standards are non-negotiable. He expects meals to be prepared at the same elite standard as those once served at Royal Lodge. This insistence on retaining a personal chef reflects more than taste. It reflects a desire for consistency, ritual, and the preservation of an unaltered routine despite drastically changed circumstances. 2. A dedicated housekeeper. In traditional high-status British households, a housekeeper is far more than a cleaner. The role involves overseeing every detail of domestic order, from the upkeep of fine linens to the polishing of silver and management of household routines. This demand reveals the Duke's continued expectation that his living quarters remain formal, meticulously maintained, and presented to the highest standards. 3. A skilled gardener. Even in his scaled-down residence, Andrew insists that his grounds must be carefully tended. The expectation of a personal gardener signifies that aesthetic perfection remains a priority. Whether viewed by visitors or not, The image of manicured order and refinement appears to be inseparable from his identity for a personal butler, perhaps the most revealing of all his requests. The insistence on a butler demonstrates the Duke's deep attachment to hierarchy and formality. A butler, in aristocratic tradition, is the orchestrator of the household, overseeing all staff, serving at table, and maintaining the rhythm of daily life according to the principal's exact preferences. This is not merely about comfort, it is about status, discipline, and the preservation of a lifestyle that affirms his sense of self. A source close to the situation confided to the Daily Mail that while the Duke is expected to leave his current home quietly, he has drawn firm lines in the negotiations. He has conditions, the insider revealed, and he isn't prepared to give much ground. This paints a picture of a man locked in a determined battle with the king's financial advisors, fighting to preserve the final vestiges of the life he once knew. Prince Andrew reportedly argues that such staffing is commensurate with his status as the son of a queen and the father of 2 princesses. That statement speaks volumes about his internal perception. Despite public disgrace, the loss of his military titles, and his exclusion from royal patronages, he still views his birthright as unassailable, an enduring shield against complete demotion. The destination chosen for this enforced relocation adds another layer of symbolism. Prince Andrew is expected to move into a private residence on the sprawling Sandringham estate in Norfolk, a site deeply woven into royal history and affection. While this move represents a dramatic downgrade from the grandeur of Royal Lodge, it is worth noting that the arrangement is being financed entirely by King Charles III. This demonstrates that while Andrew has been publicly sidelined, he has not been entirely abandoned by the family. Sandringham, a cherished royal retreat for generations, has long been associated with both personal reflection and private retreat. For Andrew, however, this move may feel less like freedom and more like quiet exile, an elegant containment within the boundaries of royal propriety. While Prince Andrew's move to Sandringham keeps him physically close to the royal family's private world, it is also a clear symbol of separation. He will not be residing in one of the monarchy's official residences, but rather in a private property, an unmistakable demarcation line between royal inclusion and quiet exile. In true Andrew fashion, however, his relocation reportedly comes with a new set of demands. Beyond his insistence on retaining a full household staff, the Duke has requested freedom to move about the Sandringham estate, rather than being confined strictly to his assigned quarters. This desire underscores his refusal to relinquish the privileges of autonomy and access that have long defined royal life. Furthermore, Andrew is said to have demanded either a personal security and support detail or full access to the existing royal staff already stationed at Sandringham. The contradiction is striking. A man effectively placed in internal exile continues to seek the liberties of an active high-ranking royal, merely transferred to a smaller stage. King Charles III, in agreeing to fund and facilitate this move, appears to be attempting a careful balancing act, maintaining a necessary public distance from his brother, while still honoring private familial duty. Prince Andrew's relocation also casts a shadow of uncertainty over the life of his former wife, Sarah Ferguson. The Duchess of York has long shared an unconventional yet enduring bond with Andrew, living within the Windsor estate since 2004, often in shared quarters or nearby accommodations at Royal Lodge. For decades, she has been a permanent, if unofficial, part of Andrew's domestic life, a loyal presence despite their divorce. Now, with the Duke being forced to vacate the 30-room Royal Lodge, the Duchess's future arrangements are unclear. Will she join him at a smaller private residence in Sandringham? Will King Charles permit her to remain at Windsor in separate housing? Or will she, too, be compelled to find an entirely new home? Her uncertain fate underscores the personal fallout of Andrew's scandal. His actions and subsequent disgrace have ripple effects that extend far beyond himself, affecting even those who have shown him unwavering loyalty through years of public humiliation. If the high-stakes domestic negotiations over butlers, gardeners, and residences were not already dramatic enough, this entire relocation saga unfolds under an even graver shadow, a formal summons from the United States Congress. In the same week, Andrew was finalizing his relocation conditions. He reportedly received an official and binding request for testimony. This is not a polite invitation. It is a summons issued by one of the most powerful legislative bodies in the world. The order comes from the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, which is currently conducting a far-reaching investigation into the late Jeffrey Epstein's extensive network of sex trafficking and financial misconduct. While congressional interest in Prince Andrew is not entirely new, this formal summons marks a dramatic escalation from speculation and media coverage to an official governmental inquiry. It transforms his involvement from rumor into a matter of formal legal scrutiny, amplifying both the personal and institutional stakes for the Duke of York. The committee has formally called upon Prince Andrew to respond to direct and specific questions about his long-standing relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, a connection that has inflicted lasting damage on both his personal reputation and the public image of the monarchy itself. What makes this summons especially perilous is the evidence reportedly uncovered during the committee's investigation: highly sensitive financial records that include references to the Duke of York. Among these records is one particularly disturbing notation: "Message for Andrew." The inclusion of such an explicit entry, discovered within the context of a probe into Epstein's sex trafficking operations, raises profoundly serious questions about the extent and nature of the Duke's involvement. It suggests that us investigators may possess documentation directly connecting Andrew to services arranged under Epstein's illicit enterprise. The House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform has made its mission clear: to fully expose the scope of Epstein's criminal network, identifying all who may have participated in, facilitated, or profited from his crimes. Receiving a formal summons from this powerful body, which has the authority to compel evidence and testimony, places the Duke of York in an extraordinarily difficult legal and diplomatic position. The convergence of these two realities, the Duke's insistence on luxury and the U.S. Congress's demand for answers, creates a striking portrait of contradiction and denial. On one hand, Prince Andrew clings desperately to the external symbols of privilege: the cook, the gardener, the housekeeper, the butler, as if preserving these remnants of aristocratic comfort could somehow insulate him from the deepening inquiries into his past. His negotiations for a cushioned retirement, sustained by his royal birthright, reveal a man seeking to protect image and status at all costs. On the other hand, the legal and political machinery of the United States moves forward with unrelenting precision, unconcerned with lineage or royal decorum. Its focus lies squarely on verifiable facts, financial trails, witness statements, and the mechanisms that enabled Epstein's decades-long exploitation. The contrast is damning. While Andrew attempts to preserve a gilded illusion of nobility, he now faces the cold scrutiny of a system built on evidence, not entitlement. King Charles's decision to finance Andrew's move to Sandringham reflects a cautious effort to contain the scandal from within. By providing a privately funded residence and a limited degree of comfort, the king appears to be maintaining familial responsibility while preventing Andrew from becoming an even greater liability to the institution. The hope, perhaps, is that seclusion will neutralize public attention and allow the monarchy to quietly distance itself from his troubles. Yet, the involvement of the U.S. Congress shatters that hope. This development ensures that Andrew's controversies are not relegated to history. They remain active, alive, and legally relevant within an international criminal investigation. The message from Washington is unambiguous. Prince Andrew's past associations with Epstein are not a private embarrassment to be managed behind palace doors. They are part of an ongoing inquiry into a global web of exploitation and abuse. And for the Duke of York, that means the walls of privilege that once protected him are rapidly closing in, leaving him to confront a reckoning that no title, staff, or royal connection can hold at bay. Prince Andrew now finds himself fighting on two fronts, struggling to preserve his domestic comfort while simultaneously facing scrutiny from one of the most powerful investigative bodies in the world. His insistence on maintaining a full roster of personal staff only underscores the remarkable sense of privilege he continues to exhibit, even as he endures the most intense period of legal and public pressure in his life. This week represents a pivotal turning point in the ongoing saga of Prince Andrew. His forced relocation from the 30-room royal lodge to a smaller property on the Sandringham estate, though financed by King Charles, stands as a clear and public symbol of his diminished standing. Yet, rather than adapting to his reduced circumstances. His unwavering demand for a cook, a housekeeper, a gardener, and a butler exposes a sense of entitlement that appears immune to consequence or shame. But even this clash over domestic arrangements is overshadowed by a far graver reality: the formal summons issued by the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. The attention has shifted from Andrew's comfort to his conduct, with investigators scrutinizing financial records containing disturbing notations, including the phrase, "Massage for Andrew." Such evidence raises deeply troubling questions about the Duke's connections to Jeffrey Epstein's criminal operations, and the inquiry's implications extend well beyond embarrassment. They strike at the heart of royal accountability in an age when birthright no longer guarantees protection. Prince Andrew is now trapped in a profound struggle between his self-perception, a man of inherited stature, deserving of privilege, and the demands of justice, transparency, and consequence. This episode invites us to reflect on the enduring reach of royal privilege, even when stripped of titles, duties, and public trust. We'd love to hear your thoughts, dear viewers. What is your reaction to Prince Andrew's insistence on retaining a full household staff despite his current disgrace? Does it shock you, or does it simply confirm what we've come to expect from royalty raised in an environment of lifelong indulgence? And what do you think the U.S. congressional summons will mean for his future? Will it finally bring closure, or open a new and more damaging chapter in this ongoing royal crisis? Share your insights in the comments below. Your perspectives always enrich our discussions. And as always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth coverage of royal affairs and global developments, and join us next time as we continue to track this extraordinary and evolving story. Thank you for watching.